have with me a wonderful brother. I've known him for, how many years? Since...
Like 21 years.
Charlie, it's been a long while. He wears many hats. He was my classmate, or he's my classmate.
Sharp.
Charlie. And we've come a long way. And today he's here in the capacity of a music minister. When he leaves my studio, he'll continue with other things. So I'm here with Matthew Ansah. So I'll let you introduce yourself. I've mentioned your name, but you are here, so introduce yourself. Let's go.
Hi, my name is Matthew Ansah. And I'm a man of many parts. I'm a singer or musician. I'm a worker in God's vineyard. I'm a Christian, first of all. I'm a child of God. I'm a marketing and communications professional. What else? Well, I'm an erstwhile master of ceremony, MC at events. And I've done many things, many good things.
I like that. Qualified. Yeah. Many good things. Welcome to us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure being here.
Yeah.
You're doing something amazing with the music story, and I'm honored to be part of this.
Charlie, same here. I'm honored to have you around. All right. So we are just going to go through your journey, your music journey. And then different milestones in your life up till then we'll narrow in on your project.
Okay.
Yeah. So we are going to look at your upbringing, where you grew up, where you were born, the kind of family you grew up in. Then we'll take it from there.
Wow. Awesome. So I grew up with a hybrid of Apostolic Church and Church of Pentecost. Interesting interesting combination. So when I was growing up at Tantra Hills, first of all, Achimota, then Tantra Hills. Back then, so my parents were in the Apostolic Church Ghana, the one with the A. Yeah, and just behind our house was Church of Pentecost. So naturally, I was a Church of Pentecost member, and I enjoyed both. So I go and do quiz competitions here. I do saw drill here. I do saw drill here, and it was fun. By the grace of God, we won some laurels then, and so I came from a strong Christian family. My mom was a deaconess in Apostolic Church, so you can imagine. But and it was good, and I think I picked a lot of things from what I saw around me, and I loved God growing up. Even though I gave my life to Christ in Form 2 at Infantipim, but the truth is, because I was born into a Christian home, I was serving, at church, singing, performing drama, and all of that, playing drums, and all of that, right from Kunga, the Kunga, Ajas, and those ones before, like professional drumming. Then when I finally moved to Infantipim, the school, I'm a proud Moba. I had the privilege of joining Joyful Incorporated with Dan Vic. Are you in Cavi Road?
I was in school choir.
You're in school choir, yeah. So Dan Vic, Daniel the Victor was in the school choir. I was in Joyful Way Incorporated, and I became their prayer and counseling director. Wow. And by the time we're leaving school, I think we're the first set or first batch to be transitioned into what we call the Joyful Way Phase 2.
Okay.
And so we had the opportunity to minister at the Explosion of Joy in December at the National Theatre. And again, I had the double privilege of leading a song. At the time, I did it with Kalebangmo. And maybe by Yesu. Okay. Yeah, so we led that song. And I've been looking for photos and videos of that administration, to keep in my archives. But it was a wonderful time. So that was my music journey. When I moved to the University of Ghana, I became, so again, right from level 100, still active in music, and I became the music director for APOSA. I became the music director for APOSA, that's Apostolic Students and Associates. And it was a good time. I had a lot to learn, but I think, passion and drive, hunger for God, and the natural skill, all of those things aided me. And so we had a good time on campus. Then after school, when I started serving in a church, I had a strong urge to work on a project to release songs. By the grace of God, God had gifted me with the ability to write songs. But at the initial phase, I would get some tunes along the way, but I would also sit and write the song. So I feel like, okay, let me write about the love of God, or let me write about this theme, and and those times some of the songs were not even gospel songs. Like a song would come, like you get a tune and you are thinking. I remember there was one bit that I wrote. It was about marriage, like a wedding song. I told my brother, Charlie, every wedding, but we grew and matured along the way. So I started being intentional about it. Then in 2011, I released an album called The Atmosphere of Praise. And I had a song. I released a single on it called Wadom. And at the time, that song did well. I remember those times, Reverend Newcan had a program on CTFM. And it was one of the songs that was part of the contest or competition. Then the full album came out. So in 2011, when I released the album, so at the launch, I had Pastor Joe Beecham, Joe Metal, Joshua Notri, and Daniel Chum. Those were my guest artists. I had Nana Sasi, and a couple of other young guys who were coming up by then. But at the time, the established names were Pastor Joe Beecham, Joe Metal, and all of that. Very good and successful launch. The album came out. Then I went into hibernation for a very long time. I was serving in a church then, and we had to concentrate more on the church work and the church music because there were other capacities and responsibilities that I had been assigned with. Fast forward, I was still receiving the songs. At some point, I thought I was done with music. Okay. I thought even though I had improved with regard to the songwriting, now I was receiving songs. So I would be there, and depending on where I am, what I'm doing, a song would just drop. Okay. I think I shared how I received the Amen Anthem at church, and my pastor was blown away. It was just a normal Sunday morning after prayer, preparing to go to church, polishing shoes. Then I just received the song as it is, and I'm always by my phone. So immediately happens, I click record. So I recorded that song, went to church. After church, interestingly, the late Doris Kujo, she used to sing with Koda, and she's Takrady based. Okay. She was in Accra by then. So she and I and my church keyboardist, we rehearsed that song. I recorded, and the song started taking shape, and that was how we prepared for recording that song.
This looks like a executive summary. Now let's dig deeper. Your family, was there a reference, like a musical reference for you to inspire you to want to be in music, whether from your mom or your dad or some grandfather? Yeah. Was there anyone like that?
Okay. I think in my family, the only person who doesn't sing is my dad.
Who doesn't sing?
Who doesn't sing? Well, I've never seen I've never seen him sing. Yeah, the only person who doesn't sing in my family, I think, is my dad. Okay. My mom, because she's late, so she used to sing. She was a very good singer in the Apostolic Church as a deaconess. Praise are praise, worship are worship. Wow. My siblings, all my sisters sing. My brother sings as well. So, wow. So I think the foundation was there. Yeah, and so because of that, I didn't struggle with it. I think it's something God gave us. Yeah.
So do you remember the first time you sang in church or for either Sunday school program or something like that?
Sunday school, yes, I do. This was at Achimota.
Okay.
We called that assembly Achimota. Oh, I've forgotten, but it's around the Achimota school. So I was a little child. We had quiz competitions, we had singing competitions, and I think one of the things I remember doing was singing. Then again, Church of Pentecost. As for Pentecost, Pentecost Tantra Hill, I was a champ. Praise and worship and special administrations and all of that. Yeah, it was great. Then Tantra Hills, praise and worship. I think one of the most beautiful moments at Tantra Hills was one Sunday, the praise leader was not there.
Wow.
And I was giving the mic because I had done it during Sunday school days. It was very easy. I don't know what inspiration the pastor had, the elder had, and he gave me the mic and praise and worship. It was powerful. It was powerful.
Yeah. Wow. So when you decided to do music, was there any form of disapproval or encouragement from family or parents?
Okay. Oh, I think it was an outright approval and endorsement from family. Because I remember my album launch, everybody was there.
Wow.
Everybody was there. In fact, they invited a lot of extended family members. I'm like, this is not a family gathering. It's just an album launch, So the support had been there right from day one. From day one, yeah.
That's good for you. So growing up, what were like some of the musical influences you had? What were some of the music you were exposed to around that time?
Growing up, I wasn't from a rich home, so I honestly would say I wasn't exposed to foreign music. It was mostly Ghanaian-based music or Ghanaian-oriented music. And at some point, I think in SS, after SS, when I came back, I stayed with my brother-in-law at the time, who transitioned to become my spiritual father.
Okay. And before that, the Ghanaian-oriented music, what kind of? Do you remember some of those?
Also, Mark Abraham, songs by Mark Abraham, songs by Adam Reku. My brother-in-law had volume 1 to volume here of Adam Reku's songs. So then Francis A.J. Then also because of my background in Apostolic Church, Apostolic had a lot of songs originally written in the church, as well as the hymns. So I love hymns. Okay. I mean, Apostolic hymns, I really love them. Then when I went into secondary school, that's in Fantipim, I fell in love with the school, the Methodist hymns as well. So I mean, to date, I have a Methodist hymn book at home. Wow. I love that. So I would say those were the influences. It was when I entered SS that I got predisposed to foreign music. Okay, I got to know there's somebody called Don Moen, there's somebody called this. I mean, the truth is, was at SS that I got to know about all of them. So I cherish those moments at that level where I was exposed to, those pieces of music. Indeed, it was in Form 2 that I gave my life to Christ. There was a gospel rock show by a group. I still don't remember the name of the group, but there was a gospel rock show at the Assembly Hall. That's where I gave my life to Christ, even though I had been raised in a Christian home. So when I went back home, then I told my mom I had to be baptized. Then I was baptized. So those, the foreign music blending with what I knew already from the traditional Apostolic Church of Pentecost background, they really helped me.
Wow. The Gospel Rock Show, was it some UCC group?
Yes.
Came to...
It was that. They were from UCC. Yeah. That Gospel Rock Show.
I think we did it at where we have the assembly also.
So it was Assembly Hall. I remember, so I stood by one pillar on the right side of the Assembly Hall. Yeah. That's where I humbly bowed and gave my life to Christ.
Some UCC group came to do some gospel show.
They were from UCC.
Yeah.
They're from UCC.
Wow.
Yeah.
Charlie.
So then along the way, so people, I started loving certain musicians. So Donnie McClurkin, I loved him. At some point, I wished to sing like him. You know, his range and the man, solid, and a couple of other people. Then, from 2011, when I'd heard about Pastor Joe Beecham, I loved his music. But in I think either 2007 or 2008, when I was in Commonwealth, there was a whole week celebration. I was made the chairman of the Gospel Rock Show committee, and I brought Pastor Joe Beecham and other musicians as guests, and something amazing happened. When boys for Gospel Rock Show, boys would normally come with some old clothes, old smelly clothes. People have come, they are coming to frustrate the artists, and they're coming to dance their hearts away. Boys. When Pastor Joe Beecham mounted the stage, the place turned into a revival.
Wow.
Like, I'd never seen anything like that.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, I love this. Like, I love this. But after that, I didn't encounter him again. So, in 2011, when I was preparing to launch my album, I don't know what happened to me. Like, it was a step of faith that I wanted this man to be part of my program. Then I was praying with my team. I hadn't even told them. I was praying with my team, and I said, guys, I want to invite Pastor Joe. Oh yeah, that's perfect. But funny enough, I had some external guys. I can't disclose them now, but one of them was like, about let's say a program, no. So I was like, let's say a program. Say, we will come, Charlie. People will be lying down, and I said, that's what I want. Me, I want impact. I want impact. So, long story short, I got through to his manager at the time and invited him. All odds against his coming. That same day, he had a program in Sunyani.
Wow.
And I said, even if you will come for a minute, I want this man to come. And he said, okay. So we went through the required procedure and protocol. We finished ministering, and all other guests ministered. We're done, literally done. Done. He hadn't arrived. Then I said, it's just like what someone said of David. Until he comes, we are not sitting now. Until he comes, we are not closing. A few minutes later, we got to know he had arrived. He handed over the mic. Like, no time to even sit. Handed the mic to him. Amazing atmosphere, amazing presence of God. And I think God works in mysterious ways. He also took notice of me. That, hey, this guy invited me. I am coming from a far distance. They've been able to wait for me. When he came, I didn't show any signs of anger or frustration or asking what's semi program. I didn't even think about that because of what I was doing. And so he came, and later I was praying with my team again. When I heard clearly in my spirit, I'm very careful about saying I have heard, I've seen. I don't know how to do that thing. But I heard clearly in my spirit, in my ears, and have a covenant with him. So when I was telling them, my tongue was very heavy. I didn't know how they would even believe. When did you become? When did you also start prophesying? But I told them, and one of them confirmed that, why you just tell us what you did, because I've also heard the same thing. So that was confirmation for me. I called him, met him up at the airport, and how do we say, a few moments later, that's to say, after many years, I ended up becoming his personal assistant for God knows how long, and he's been the biggest influence on my music journey.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. The funny part is when someone said that, I say program now.
Oh yeah, and I heard that it was real.
Wow, it
was real. You know, people don't understand the dimensions of ministration. Now, God has used people like Pastor Nathaniel Bassi and Minister Dunsinem to show, what those kinds of. But they've always been here.
Yeah.
They've always been here. But sometimes Ghanaians, we struggle with appreciating our own and celebrating. It's even with like pastors, the kind of anointed men of God we have here that we don't even appreciate. It's amazing. Recently, Dr. Frank Ovuso appeared preached at our church, and I was telling my wife that actually, this man is so. This is the second time I'm hearing him. This man is so loaded. How come Ghanaians we don't celebrate our own? We don't like. There's nothing wrong with celebrating others, and we celebrate grace. We celebrate anointed men, but we are so loaded. We are so anointed. We don't even talk about what is wrong with us. Like, what is wrong? That man, God. And we have many of such people here. Many of such. And you see, when it comes to songwriters, and I thank God I was able to meet Elder Ampia, the late Elder Ampia, before he departed. And look at such grace. I was one of the people who was advocating when I encountered him that, listen, this man needs to be celebrated before he departs. And so I took it upon. I was visiting him regularly. I kept in touch with, because I felt like, this must be done. There was another Elder Nati. If you've sat with Elder Ampia before, he would mention Elder Nati.
Is he alive?
He's also gone. Oh. He at some point was my landlord.
Wow.
When I got to the university, when I came home, he was our landlord. And one day I spent time with the man plays almost all the instruments.
Wow.
He had a notebook with songs.
Wow.
I don't even know what became of them. But these were anointed songs. But we didn't even hear about them.
Wow.
Maybe it's meant to be so, but all I'm saying is, let's celebrate the gifts God has blessed us with. Yeah. We have them in Ghana, and we need to celebrate them. They're wild ministrations, and we seem to think that actually they are not real. They are real.
Wow. Now let's look at Infant Swim School. What made you choose Infant Swim?
I'm clapping for the question before the answer comes. There was a unique thing about my school selection. My dad wanted me to go to Accra Academy. My godfather, who took care of my education, like he was paying my fees, I was named after him. Okay. The late Matthew Inti.
Oh, he's the reason for the...
He's the reason for... Yeah, I was named after him.
Okay.
Yeah. He had a hotel at Achimota called Beecham Hotel.
Okay.
Yeah. He wanted me to go to Achimota because he was from Achimota. Along the way, my dad switched from Accra to Presec. But in JSS1, between JSS1 and JSS2, I wanted to go to Prempeh. So I think there was this thing, I wanted to go to a boys' school.
Okay.
As in, me call boys school, that kind of thing. So there was an event in Kumasi that required the family to take a trip there. When I went there, I abandoned everybody and looked for Prempeh and went to the school, looked around. I was like, oh, I like this school. I don't know what happened. I'm sure Kofi Annan was part of it. And a few other people at the time, Professor Dubuahin and all those people were hearing about from Infant Swim. The whole thing switched from Prempeh to Infant Swim. Then my sister was in a vocational school in Cape Coast, so we're going for a graduation. And I repeated that feat. I left everybody, picked the taxi, went to Infant, and it was a Saturday. It was a wrong time to go there because I went there and my conviction was so cemented like never before. I say wrong time because Saturday morning at the vaccine inspection, then the serenity, the ambience, the silence. You see a few people and Charlie, the gentility. Look, my God! When I said driver for me Kosro. So the driver took me all the way to the academic side, and we descended. By the time I came back, it was a complete baptism of Jin Shekan. Wow. Nobody could change my mind about it. Wow. So I told my dad that there's only one school I'll attend, Infant Swim. I told my headmaster, the late Mr. Odro. I told my godfather then. That was it. My headmaster, even though I was, by the grace of God, I was academically good, my school was not one of the top schools. And so he was being scared.
Whether you get the grades.
I'll get grades. So even my second choice, the school I chose was people's first choice. And he said, no, I should tone down, I should look for... I said, no, I'm so certain I'm getting
the
second
choice.
Hey, now So I chose National, Ghana National as my second. Then I chose APAM as my third. Okay. Then he said, no, I should make APAM my second and Winneba third. And I said, Nami go write the exam. I'm so convinced that I will do this. So I'm sure he figured a way to change it, but I don't know. I was so certain I was getting infant swim, and that was it. And when my grades came solid by the grace of God, and that's how I got in there. So that's been the journey, and infant swim really changed me. I'm one of those people who I would say didn't just pass through the school passed through me. Like, I came back home and realized, Charlie, even though I was a calm guy, now I've become gentle. I'm having 2 handkerchiefs in my pocket always. I want to have a haircut. My walking has changed. Hey, that was it. And, there were sharks all over. So you have to shack. And it was good. I had good friends around. And I think, again, because of my foundation, Charlie, even English was a problem. But you met some guys, and I remember when I met Yawaji, Charlie, the profile. So one day I sat him and I said, have you traveled abroad before? So I don't want to say that. So I took a keen interest. I remember guys like Leslie, Charlie, the guys were good. And that was it. Then in my class, amazing guys, Charlie, high competition, sharks all over. By the time we were informed there's something called, this was where they selected guys to go into A5, including yourself. Sharks, Daniel, Chalomo, they don't have time for these boys are moving, Christopher and all, Charlie. But it was good. It really helped us. And by the grace of God, we all came out and we're doing great, and it's a good thing. Advancement really helped and shaped me, in the ways of God, because I was an SU, and I think I became an SU. I forgot what the position was, but either cell leader or something like that. And Charlie Dusta will go to the prayer chapel, we'll go and pray. Then at night, you either go to the school park or find some place, you go and pray. It was good. Like, those were the things that shaped us and enabled us to have a more sober life. Because my dad had told me, Charlie, know where you're coming from. So that thing was always playing in my mind. I don't think I took an exit just once, when I was not well. But to frepen, Charlie, I can't. I was always remembering that thing. But Infancy really helped me with SU, with Joyful Way. Joyful Way exposed me to music a lot. With, amazing guys, Joshua Moya, JM, Edmond, guitar, Jesse Jokoto, and all those guys, and amazing school choir guys like yourself, Adakwe, and all those guys. So it was a school that had a lot of talent, a lot of amazing talent. So it was a good choice. I don't regret it. All my sons will go there, whether they like it or not.
Charlie, that's good. So how did you get into radio?
Radio, to be honest with you, I think God just blessed me with some abilities, and there were helpers along the way. My first encounter on radio was in nursery.
Radio?
I'm telling you, my new life at Radio School Achimota. So GBC.
Okay.
I don't even remember what the program was, but they came to our school to record some of the kids. So they gave us materials to read. I think there was a unique program on radio then. They gave us materials to read, and we did read, and I was one of the people they selected. So they did our recording. They didn't take us to the studio, but they recorded us, and they told us what time it would air. So imagine a young kid, you are with your parents, they tune in, and they hear your voice, you are reciting a poem. The excitement and all of that. I didn't know that was a seed they planted in me.
Wow.
Many years later, I loved radio. I'm not sure you ever observed this, but maybe somebody like you would, because we were in the same room at some point. When I was in the SS, in my notebooks, you would always, because I was good at drawing, you would always see me drawing somebody with a microphone.
Wow.
Like I would draw the studio setup. I always had that.
Wow.
When I completed SS, I was looking for how to do radio. This will blow your mind. One day I phoned in when Peace FM started at Mile 7. At the time we were staying at Tabora Alaji. I just called randomly. I started calling the station, trying to talk to one of the presenters. Guess what? One day I called and the producer asked me to talk to this man, Willie Ashley Seal. I'm still looking for him, Willie Ashley. The man gave me his number and he invited me into the studio. It wasn't even done then. They had an underground studio. He invited me there. And when I eventually met, like it was a shock because Charlie, that time it was very difficult to have access to these guys, these presenters. He invited me to the studio, and after his show, this was very late. He was playing gospel at night, so he can finish around 12 midnight and all of that. So he closed very late. Then he took me to Just Here Spot. We went to sit down. I think he had a couple of friends there to meet. Then he asked me why I called, like what's the interest? And I said I want to do radio. I said okay. So he gave me a schedule. If only I can come at this time. So there was, I think, Saturday evening or so. Then, and it was a duty and a call for me.
Wow.
So I started going. Then he introduced me to Billy Ocean, who was one of the presenters at Peace FM. So Billy Ocean had a music school, a radio school, radio and DJ school at Caprice.
Okay.
So I attended, I registered and started schooling there. Wow. So that filled the gap before I started teaching on the side. Then I entered the university. Okay. So by the time I entered the university, I had the foundation because Billy Ocean was doing the DJing. Then Mr. Edward Fache, the legendary Edward Fache of GBC, he was doing the broadcasting side. Okay. And the man took interest in me. He liked me. He said like I had the potential. He loved how I could read and all of that. So he groomed me along those lines. So when I went to level 100, then I got to know about Radio Universe. They were doing an audition. They had this audition. All the students who are interested come in. You are given materials to read and all of that. Fast forward, there was an exam. I passed. I went through the audition, and I was one of the people they selected. And I think it was Dr. Palgrave Boachidankwa. He gave me my first opportunity on radio at Radio Universe. Wow. He had a program called Student Parliament, and I was there once as one of the panelists, and that was it. Wow. So I joined Radio Universe. I wanted to be a DJ badly. Interestingly, the people were seeing other abilities in me. Mm-hmm. So I remember one of our seniors, Kobe Gomez. I don't even think he will remember. He said something to me. I'm sure he didn't know what he was doing, but it was just God speaking to him. He told me, but you have the potential to do the morning show, which was campus exclusive. Why is there you want to be a DJ? You are always DJ name fatal, like you are not. And at the time, the person I was following was Dr. Paul Chumberima. He's an MP now. Okay. I used to call him DJ Anoma. Okay. Anoma was running a show and I was producing him. When Kobe said that thing, Charlie, the thing pained me. But that was the bitter pill I had to swallow, wow. The bitter medicine. And from there, I switched to producing the morning show. By the time I was leaving campus, I was a top morning show host. And even my colleagues thought I was going to end up at Joy FM or City or anything. But I had to take a decision on my career because I studied marketing. And there was an opportunity to pursue marketing right after school. So I decided to go straight into it. But radio was still in me. So along the way, an opportunity would come for me to go and do radio. So I've been on City FM. I've done a number. At some point, I was co-hosting Beauty for Ashes with Jojo. Okay. Then Jojo Bediako. And then Hits FM invited me. I was shocked. I was just there when Marco Krekumante called me that they wanted to start a morning devotion on Hits FM. And my name had come up. Oh, wow, amazing. I embraced it. I wasn't even thinking about money and all of that. Straight. I prayed about it and I was okay and started. So that's how I started the Hits morning show. It was supposed to continue, actually. There were many other things I was doing. At the time, I was doing my master's, which was an evening school. Then, because it was a show from 4 a.m. to 6 a.m., I had to be in the studio before 4. And from there, full-time job, then emceeing. I was also a fresh husband by the time, so multiple responsibilities. It was getting tiring, so that's when I had to resign from that position. Wow. So once in a while, it comes up. I think exactly a year ago, I was on 3FM doing a show for Giovanni. I was doing his drive time. So I know that radio hasn't ended. I don't know when I get back to doing radio, but it's one of the things I love to do. It flows naturally.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was the connection with Giovanni?
The connection with Giovanni, interesting. So
I know he holds you in high esteem.
Oh, I mean, Giovanni is a brother. I really do love and appreciate him. He's one of the talented guys, I know. So when we were at university, my roommate is Pacino. He was hosting the drive and entertainment show. Then I was doing, even though we're all doing campus exclusive, I was doing Viewpoint, which was a current affairs talk show. One day I'd come out, or we're having a whole week. Then I saw this guy with a microphone trying to MC. And I just loved his voice. I said, So I told my friend, Charlie, this guy is the material for radio. Then he said, then he'll speak with him. Because he also saw that Charlie, the guy is good. So he engaged him. And he invited him to our room. We're in a 2-in-1 room. Call it the dollar block at Commonwealth. Okay. So he came in. And I said, Charlie, there's an opportunity at Radio Universal. How about that? I think he had also been looking for the opportunity, so it just happened naturally. Then we invited him again to our room. Then he started visiting the room. Anytime he came, he would come with an item. So today, one bag. Tomorrow, but I realized he was our pitcher. An unofficial pitcher, he transitioned to an official pitcher. And that was it. And so he started producing Pacino. And so when we were leaving, it was their batch to continue, the likes of Pakwisi Asari and all of those guys. Quite a number of Raymond Akwa of Joy FM, all those guys came along. Wow. And their batch, I think they took radio more seriously than our batch. Because our batch, we ended up doing other things. Farouk was doing radio, doing sports, then now he's like some serious banker and financial guru. Pacino is a lawyer and working in another institution, and but thereby they took it seriously, and they're still doing active radio. Wow. And Giovanni has been phenomenal over the period, and he's one of the finest guys and famous guys now. Wow. And it's beautiful. He never stops to talk about our friendship. We're still very close. With our families know one another. We have family meetings and all that. It's amazing. Yeah.
Wow. Giovanni the Pecha.